I have never experienced something so powerful as the group of people led by this energy not living in fear of the coronavirus.
Well, you could put anything in that blank and know that your attention to what you're wanting, no matter what's in that blank, will always give you immunity, and that there is no greater virus than fear. The susceptibility to this virus is close to non-existent. And even as it is increasing to some degree before it begins to decrease, it is infinitesimal, but fear is rampant. So, since it's all about a choice, the thing that is happening around this is that it is activating clarity of desire within most individuals. And that clarity of desire has summoning power that is so beneficial. But no one is talking about that, because very few understand that when there's a strong desire, then there is a strong calling of well-being to you. And so in your connection to source energy, you are immunized. You are in a vibrational place where what you want will come to you, you see. Of course, anyone can hold themselves apart from well-being, and a lot of people are using this as an opportunity to do that, but it is unnecessary. And so when you're with a group of people, you could say that in your floating in this beautiful environment on this magnificent voyage, under the very expertise, guidance, and understanding of this crew and this captain, you could say that you are in a sort of bubble, but you are not. You are not without hearing what's going on. The difference in here and maybe some of the other pockets of where people are around the world is that you have been focused here in alignment with who you are in a stronger way, and so you have more momentum, and that's the advantage that this has given to you. It has given you an opportunity to garner some momentum which will hold you steady in some maybe waters that seem a little bit more confusing. Clarity is not a difficult thing, but it is something that must be practiced. When you think about all of the things in this world that you could worry about, all of the things in this world that you could worry about, we are not going to play the game of lining them up for you in comparison, although in some cases it might make you worry a little less. But as long as you don't play the game of pushing against anyone. In other words, lots of people use opportunities like this as an excuse to push against things that they've already been pushing hard against. It just gives them stronger reason to push against, stronger reason to express their sense of vulnerability, more evidence or more facts to let them express their outrage at this one and this one, or their sense of vulnerability. And when you think about it, it's the opposite of what your inner being is doing, and the opposite of what you know to do. And so if you don't fall into the category of so many who will calibrate to those details, and it's interesting, we just want to ask you this one question. Why is it that because of the beating of this louder drum right now, you feel like it is more appropriate for you to calibrate to those details, when calibrating to anything that you do not want is the ultimate sacrifice of your connection to source energy? So we are happy that you started out by giving it the anonymous name of the C word, and that later you were brave enough to actually say it right out loud. But you could put anything in that blank, and you could find millions of people that are pushing against it and using whatever it is as their excuse not to allow their current well-being. And we don't think it's necessary or a good idea in any way, do you?
I don't, and I'm so grateful to everyone here and the boat, and to you and to Esther and Jerry and everyone for the energy to go home with.
This energy is something that you may be calibrating to. In other words, you've been calibrating to well-being while we've been here together. And when you go home, there may be a louder drum that may tease you into that sort of calibration too. So we want you to not have been calibrated to this energy or to this well-being. We want you to have learned about it, remembered it, felt resonance with it, remembered that it's who you are, and remember that you can calibrate to that at any time. You do not need an isolated environment like this to calibrate. Your inner being is with you at all times and focusing a signal that is so powerful and so directly focused and pointed at you that if you miss it, it's ridiculous. It's on you if you miss it. So leave here knowing that that calibration is the most logical and millions of times more powerful and millions of times more accessible to you. And yes, because we've gathered this momentum together, yes, for sure. But you're still going to want to focus in the direction of that. And you're going to find it easily. You are among those who will remain stable and spread the virus of stability, the virus of optimism, the virus of well-being, the virus of source energy, the virus of source energy aware, the virus of knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, the virus of a non-physical vortex of collective consciousness that is more significant, greater, more focused by non-physical energy than ever before in the history of beingness on this planet. There is a stream of well-being that will carry you into places you have always wanted to be. Not only will this virus not take you down, it will calibrate you as you focus toward who you really are and what you really want, to the receiving of so many things that you have been waiting for. This is not something gone wrong. This is something going very, 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 very right in response to the asking that so many of you have been offering for a while, you see. So be easy about it and take yourself wherever you are. In other words, if you find yourself worried about something or having a knee-jerk response to something, don't be mad at yourself about it. Acknowledge, well, of course it's logical that having just heard that or having just seen that or having just thought that I would have an indicator that my inner being didn't go there with me when I went there. But then know that that's what it is, that that's what this feeling is about. It's not about your vulnerability. It's not about your susceptibility. It's about your departure from who you really are and what you really want in this moment. That's what it is about. That's what any negative emotion is always about. And you know that. You don't have to start from the beginning to know that. You're way, 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 way out ahead about that, you see.
And I think it's kind of funny, the coronavirus, in a sense that I have sensed that I've been holding myself back from my greatness because of the work I've put into it. And finding this body of wisdom, divine, infinite intelligence, that we get to allow our greatness, I feel myself on the cusp of it, and that I was toying with allowing my recent divorce and all the stuff that goes with that, children that are estranged, and thank you for all the teachings that help that, to keep me back from actually doing what I came here to do. I love being an uplifter. I love speaking. I love sharing the gifts, and I love now that I can share that without the propensity to have to work for it so much. And I'm just praying. I'm so glad that I was called on, because when I go home, like last night I didn't sleep, the inspiration that just flowed through me for the platforms that I can just share with this, with the being myself.
The things that you're saying about this are exhilarating to hear, and we are thrilled that you are knowing that and feeling that and expressing it so clearly. We want to enhance it and add to it just a little bit with this. It is a nice thing that anyone can remain stable in an unstable environment. That's a nice thing. And that will be a certain thing for you most of the time. Not all of the time, but most of the time, and that's enough. But what is exhilarating about this is that you have collectively and individually launched rockets of desire that are going to serve you in ways that you have not yet tasted or touched. And what we mean by that is, it's one thing to soothe negative emotion and move into a better feeling place where you feel relief. That's one thing. And it's a nice thing. It's always a good thing. But it's something else altogether when newfound desire is launched within you and you focus in the direction of that. and you begin to experience the reception of knowledge and information and impulses to move forward in ways that, like you said, you've been holding back from. The holding back has been dissolving with the increasing of these rockets. And so the exhilaration, Esther said to a friend on the phone a few minutes ago, I've never felt more exhilarated and more eager about what's coming next. And her friend said, what's coming next? And Esther said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what form it's going to take. I just know it's going to be so fun when it hatches. I can hardly wait to get together with my team and chew together and think about where we are and interact with clients and find out where we are and what we're about and find formats and opportunities and ways to go and ways to roll and things to know and ways to feel. When a new desire is hatched and you find a way to line up with that new desire, there's ecstasy, there's exaltation, there are feelings of continual steadiness and exhilaration that don't come along every day. And so this is not a body of people who will simply weather a storm. This is a body of people who will certainly weather the storm. The storm is not what your emphasis is about. It's what went in the vortex because of the storm and where that faster current and that stronger wanting will lead you, of the ideas that will come, of the collaborations that will come, of new energies that will come, of the new businesses that will be launched, of the new attitudes and awarenesses will come, of the new relationships that will be formed. In other words, it's like a rebooting. It's like a big time replenishing. It's like getting a new lease on life with all new resources that have been summoned because of this magnificent experience. Yes,